Jorge Pupo, and this is Entre Amigos, the show about successful Latinos. My first guest is one of the greatest musicians of all time. He's a virtuoso on both the clarinet and saxophone. He has performed with Dizzy Gillespie, Mario Bauza, David Amram, Bebo Valdez, Michelle Camilo, Carmen McRae, and Cachao, among others. Since 1981, when he arrived in the U.S. from Cuba, Paquito has taken command of his role as a cross-cultural ambassador, creating and promoting a style that moved from bebop to Latin to Mozart. This year, he was awarded with the 1997 Latin Jazz Grammy Award for his work on Portraits of Cuba.
Terence Blanchard and Ivan Lins, Paquito D'Rivera, and Don Graunik. And the Grammy goes to Paquito D'Rivera, Portraits of Cuba.
Thank you. I want to find my pen. Well, I have to speak in English now, and that's the hardest thing to do for me. I have only 100 words in English, and 50 of them are dirty. Oh. Remember that a couple of years ago, I had to present an award to the great Cachao. And I say that it's hard to give an award to a man who is an award himself. And I have my award last year when the Chesky gave me the opportunity to work with one of the greatest composers and arrangers that made possible this prize. The great Carlos Franzetti. You made this possible.
Congratulations, man. That's great.
Thank you. Carlos is a great arranger, and I feel that, and I had to say that about him because he made possible for me to play that that music that I play in that CD.
Well, it shows. It truly is a gem. I mean, what does Portraits of Cuba mean to you rhythmically, Paquito?
That was entirely an idea of Carlos. He said to me, you remember that record of Miles Davis called Sketches of Spain?
Mm-hmm.
That record was a jazz tribute to the music of Spain. So let's do now a jazz tribute to the music of Cuba. Mm-hmm. And he created all the arrangement. We chose the repertory, you know, who really, it is like 100 years of Cuban music.
It's amazing. You were commissioned to do Aires Tropicales, which is where Portraits of Cuba comes from.
How do you know that?
Done my research.
Yes, Portraits of Cuba, the title cut of the CD is one of the pieces that I wrote for the sixth movement suite that I wrote for a wind quintet called the Aspen Wind Quintet. Mm-hmm. So Portraits of Cuba is one of the movements for that.
I know that you're rehearsing right now because you're going on tour with Portraits of Cuba. Who are you working with? And
well, I have been doing many things at the same time. I have a chamber music trio with Pablo Zinger and Gustavo Tavares, a Brazilian cellist. We recorded in a CD of Latin American music in Rio. Mm-hmm. And I am working with the United Nations Orchestra, who was founded by the great Dizzy Gillespie.
That's right. That's right.
And I work with my quintet. And also with the Caribbean Jazz Project with Andy Narell and Dave Samuels. Mm-hmm. I'm doing so many things.
Wow. I think we also have a clip of you performing at the UN Orchestra. Is the clip ready, Roland? Who created this piece?
This is a composition of my very dear partner, Claudio Roditi, Brazilian trompetist extraordinaire. Wow. And that is called Recifes Blues. And it's going to be part of a new CD by the United Nations Orchestra.
That's coming up soon, right?
Yes. I think for the end of the year, we will have that CD out.
There's another outstanding thing about you, Paquito. I believe you're the only musician right now performing with equal grace and authority on both the clarinet and saxophone.
And at least I try.
I mean, your classical repertory as well as your jazz repertory are equally strong, and you can play them with both instruments.
You know what happened? My father was a classical saxophone player. He was the person who introduced in Cuba the French school of the saxophone, the classical school of the saxophone from France. Marcel Mule was the creator of that school. And then I grew up playing every type of music. When I was 5, 6 years old, 8 years old, my father played a record of Arcaño and then maybe a record of Mozart. For me, it was the same thing. It was just music.
So it's natural for you.
It's very natural. My father was a very Ellingtonian person. He said that there is only two kinds of music, good and bad. And I'm trying to do the best I can.
If you didn't have the saxophone, what would you do?
Playing with me and my cat.
You also wrote a book, right? It's a book about sex, about sax.
Well, yes. I wrote a book and I'm trying to sell it. And it's fun. It's called My Sax Life.
Sounds great.
It's the story of it's not really a biographical book. It's a story of things that have been happening to me through all these years of sax and friends and all that music.
That's great. Take a shot of this. This is the CD, Portraits of Cuba. This is what it looks like. And inside we have pictures of, you want to tell us who these people are?
This is David Fink on the bass, great saxophonist, D. Goats, and of course, the creator of the arrangement, Carlos Franzetti from Argentina.
It's Carlos.
Yeah.
Carlos right there.
Luz Olof and Gustavo Vergali, Diego Urcola, my trumpeter from Argentina, John Clark, Pernell Saturnino from Barbados, Curaçao, sorry, yeah, and André Boyarsky from Argentina on the tenor. It's you know, my orchestra used to be, yeah, that's me from Czechoslovakia.
I hear you, when you go abroad, people think you're like Bulgarian or Czechoslovakian. They don't think you're Cuban. I mean,
yeah, because they tell them I am from whatever, from Tibet or whatever. You know what I say? My band is formed by people from all over the place. It's like the United Nations organization. The difference is my band works.
So are you going to be traveling? You're going to be, I mean, where are you going to?
That's the story of my life.
Yeah, I know you're always traveling.
Yes. I am planning to go to Europe with the United Nations Orchestra. I will be touring in country in the United States with the Caribbean Jazz Project and the classical trio, the chamber music trio. And I'm going to South America with my quintet. And I will be performing in Brazil with the great Zimbo Trio and Leni Andrade. Wow. It's not boring at all, my life.
You have to fax me the reviews, you know. We have to let people know what's going on.
Sometimes I don't have time because the following day I have to go to another place.
You know. Tell me about Tu Mi Delirio.
Ah, you like that song. That's a wonderful song. That was written by the great Cesar Portillo de la Luz. And that is the second time I record that. The first time I recorded with Tito Puente. And before that, I recorded another Contigo en la Distancia by Cesar Portillo. Yeah, I am an admirer of El Sargento Malacara.
Como Río de Palmas, de Ernesto Lecuona.
You can do a tribute to the Cuban music or a CD of Cuban music or a concert of Cuban music without presenting something by the great Ernesto Lecuona. He was our most representative composer and one of the dearest person in the music business.
Absolutely. Now Mozart.
Mozart, that's a friend of mine. I was very close to the music of Mozart because my father used to play the concert in D for flute with his saxophone, and I like to play Mozart. It's a lot you learn by playing Mozart.
Do you find that it's easier to play Latin jazz than, I mean, classical? I mean, do you have a preference?
Not really. It depends. It depends. Every type of music has its own appeal. It's like beautiful women. All of them has something very special.
That's right. Some of them are altas, others are more sopranos, chiquitas. You know, sometimes when I'm listening to play the alto, I think you're playing the soprano because you go so high. Why is that?
You know what happened? I started my career as a soprano player when I was 5 years old, and I played that instrument for many years. When I switched to the alto, when I was around 12, 13 years old, the range on the top register was too short for me. I was suffering that. Yeah, and then my father, he created a fingering to play the high notes.
You're great, man. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. Hope to see you soon.
All right, much success.